Hello，
有人 join
How do
了
I check the viewer？
还没有，应该还没有。
哦，它会有一个 I 这样子的。
呀，它会有东西 pop 上来。
Okay. Oh, there's someone. Okay.
Jamie.
Hello.
Hi, it's Jamie.
That's children.
Oh.
Oh, it's lunch break now, I think. Hello, everyone. We'll wait for a while more for more people to join us. But it's everyone. It's all our colleague. Let's see,
真是有点热。
Yeah. Ooh, thanks for the wave.
我们有几个人了？
9.
要等吗？还是要 start 先
Okay.
？OK。
Hello guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll wait for a while more to let more people join us. Today we are going to share about TCM supporting pregnancy as well as confinement. If your family and friends are interested in the topic, faster ask them to join us before we start. Okay. Can't see that.
OK。
Okay. Okay. Alright.
Let's
I think we can get started now.
Okay.
Hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our yet another Noon Talk. This is our second Noon Talks.
Yeah.
So it's Jaslyn here. Today again we have our pretty physician Fu here. I've briefly introduced Noon Talks in our previous session, but for our new viewers today, let me just share a bit of background before we begin. So Noon Talks is our monthly IG live where our physicians from Oriental Remedies group will share on the topics relating to female health, relating to chronic conditions, beauty and skin conditions, as well as general wellness. So by doing this, we are hoping to share across how TCM support you every step of the way, especially on major life stages. For example, like today we are sharing more on pregnancy and confinement. Once again, our Noon Talks will be here on every last Wednesday of the month. So if you are interested in the Noon Talks, do mark down your calendar and stay tuned. Before we begin, we will have our physician Fu to introduce a bit about yourself first.
Okay, thank you, Jaslyn, for the introduction. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, my name is Physician Fu. I graduated from NTU as well as Beijing University of Chinese Medicine with a double degree in TCM as well as Biomedical Science. So, I've been with Oriental Remedies for about 3 years now, and I have experienced treating various conditions with focus on fertility, female health, chronic pain, as well as mental health. Yeah. So for today, if any of you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to write them down in the
live
chat box
chats,
below.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then afterwards we will address them lah. Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Jaslyn. Yeah.
So we'll come back to that later. In between the sessions, if you have any questions, do leave it in the live chats, yeah? Okay, so to not keep our viewers waiting, we're going to jump straight into our topic for today with a common doubt from pregnant mummies. If a patient manages to conceive through TCM treatments, which is so happen to be our topic on the previous month, last session. So if they got pregnant with the TCM treatments along with the conventional IUI or IVF, should they or can they continue taking TCM Hubs to support the whole pregnancy?
Okay, so there's two parts to these questions. One is whether pregnant mummies can take herbs, as well as whether they should continue to take herbs. Yeah. So to address the can portion of the question, okay, so the short answer is yes, they can continue to take TCM herbs. Okay, but this is a case by case basis. It depends on the person's medical history. It depends on the TCM physician that is seeing the patient. Okay, it also depends on the gynae doctor that is seeing the patient, because some gynae doctors, they are a little bit more strict on that lah. Okay, so whether patients should continue to take TCM herbs. Okay, so generally for me, in my opinion, of course it's a yes. Okay, because I've seen a lot of patients who have benefited from taking TCM herbs even after they successfully get pregnant lah. Okay, and then again, it's a case by case basis. So if I think that the patient is very deficient in, let's say, qi and blood, or like deficient in kidney qi, and basically like if the pregnancy is not so stable, okay, I do want them to continue to take the TCM herbs, because a lot of the times it makes a difference in in helping to keep the pregnancy lah. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Okay, but you have mentioned about weak body constitution. I know that we have done explanation on weak body constitution, but for our viewers today, right, can you just explain a little bit more on how we can identify our body constitution? Is it weak or is it okay?
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. Okay, so for patients with weak qi constitution, generally you tend to feel tired very easily, and you get breathless very easally. Okay, so for patients with weak blood constitution, okay, let's ask Jaslyn. Okay, that's her knowledge. Okay, so for patients who we say is 血虚, what are the general conditions that you might see?
They will have pale lips, and then they'll also feel more lightheaded or dizzy, is it?
Correct, yeah. So a lot of these patients tend to have a history of low blood pressure as well as anemia. But for some of them, in fact, even though they don't have this, right, they experience dizziness very easily when they suddenly stand up lah. Yeah, so this could be a sign of blood deficiency.
I see. Okay.
And then apart from that, right, okay, we also have the kidney qi deficient. Okay, so this is one of the more interesting ones. Okay, so Jaslyn, again, for kidney qi deficient, what might the patient observe?
I only remember it's a 腰酸, right? Lower back pain.
Yes,
but
correct.
also it's not a definite answer.
Correct.
So we check back with you,
yes,
right?
yeah, very, very ideal answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so generally for patients with kidney qi deficient, right, we say that the lower back houses the kidney. Okay, in Chinese it's called 腰为肾之府. So generally for patients with lower back pain, right, okay, they tend to have kidney qi deficiency also lah. But like what Jaslyn previously said, it's not the only defining factor. Okay, for some patients with kidney qi deficiency, they may not necessarily experience lower back pain. Okay, fertility in itself is very closely related to kidneys. Okay, so what I would recommend is still to visit your TCM doctor, or you can visit us. Okay, and then we will assess lah, and then diagnose it accordingly.
Okay. Then can you elaborate to us a little bit more on how exactly the TCM herbs work to support pregnancy?
So for TCM herbs, they work to rebalance some of these imbalances lah. Okay, so if you are someone who has Combs syndrome, so then the TCM herbs can help to nourish as well as warm up the womb. Okay, so imagine you are you are a baby, and then if you are living in some place that is very cold, like the Antarctica, right? Okay, naturally life does not continue there, right? Okay, it's very hard to find plants that flourish over there. Okay, plants flourish in places that are slightly cool, warm, and then sunny and everything like this. So that's what we aspire our womb to be like lah. Yeah, to to have a safe pregnancy. Yeah, so that's why it's very important to warm up the womb if you have Combs syndrome, right? So apart from that, okay, things like if you have qi and blood deficiency as well as kidney qi deficiency, we say that if you are deficient, we say qi虚下限lah. Okay, meaning basically it destabilizes the pregnancy if you are weak on all these building materials. Okay, and imagine if you already don't have enough building materials like your qi and xue to sustain yourself, right? Okay, when you have a baby, it's an additional life, and then you gotta further split all these resources lah. Yeah, so we don't want either you or the baby to be malnourished, because it can cause a lot of complications. So that's why it's very important to nourish and rebalance all of these deficiencies. Yeah, so that's what the TCM herbs do.
Okay. So generally, would you recommend them to take throughout the whole pregnancy, or is there a recommended duration?
So in general, we see mummies and ask them to take herbs up till the first trimester. Okay, so beyond the first trimester, pregnancies tend to be more stable. But again, this is hard to say lah. So not all patients will take herbs up to the up to the first trimester. Some of them may take beyond, okay, or even shorter than that. Yeah.
Okay. So means it's important to recondition the body after having a baby because a lot of nutrients or blood is lost for moms during childbirth and they really need to 调理 to 补回来啦.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get to this part later on in our confinement section. So do stay tuned and stay with us. Okay, so there is a bonus sharing here for mummies. I think many of you would want to know this. So coming back to the whole pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the second and third trimester, many moms might experience some discomfort like backaches, water retention, sleep issues, or even like gestational diabetes, right?
Yes.
Is there any ways TCM can help them sort of relieve or cope with the discomfort?
So for pregnant mummies, usually of course we are a lot more careful lah. Okay, but with a lot of conditions like backaches and then sleep issues that you can't really help with, right? Okay, we do still do TCM herbs and acupuncture for them. Okay, so when you come to us, we will assess, okay, where is the lower back pain or where is the the discomfort lah. Okay, and then when we do the acupuncture, we do it on places that are very safe. So this will include places like the hand as well as the legs lah. Yeah. So then some patients will be very confused, like, hey, how come my lower back pain but then you do it on my hand, right? Okay, so actually it's connected lah. Okay, so a lot of my patients who come for neck, shoulder sprain or like or even for other physicians, they can actually recover from just one session by just doing the acupuncture on the hand. So it's a very interesting thing. Okay, you can try it out. Then apart from that, right? Okay, so for things like sleep, okay, acupuncture can help, herbs can help, but if you are someone who is scared of needles and you don't really want to take herbs, right? You can actually do a bit of acupressure as well. Yeah. So one of the easier acupressure points that I usually tell my patients to try is called 内关. So where is 内关? Okay, Jaslyn, you know? Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. I will share. Okay. So 内关, right, is actually a acupressure point that is found on your forearm. Okay, so it's on the inside of your forearm. Okay, let's find it together. Okay, so the definition of 内关is actually 2 inches above your wrist line. So the wrist line is this line over here you see when you bend your wrist. Okay, so how do you tell 2 inches easily? Is you put your 3 fingers, okay, from your wrist line. Okay, so 3 fingers away from the wrist line, right in the middle of the forearm is your 内关穴. Yeah. Agar-agar is around there.
So almost in the middle lah.
Yes. Okay. So this point is actually very good for sleep as well as emotional and mental health as well. Yeah. So what you can do is you can massage this point for 1 minute 3 times a day. Okay, and then it can generally help with sleep lah. Yeah.
Okay.
So of course, there are other acupoints that can help with sleep as well. So when you come for consultation, we will, assess your condition first, and then we will advise on the points that might help you, better lah.
That's good. Okay.
Okay. Then, so just now, Jaslyn also pointed out a very important condition which is called gestational diabetes. So more so than we know, gestational diabetes actually affect a lot of pregnant mummies. Okay, so for this condition, okay, it's very important for you to come for a consultation because we need to assess the severity of the condition first before we can further advise. But a general treatment plan for it would include TCM herbs as well as acupoints lah. Acupuncture. Yeah. So these are some of the few ways that the TCM can help with pregnant mummies. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, mummies, I hope you note that down. If you didn't, we'll share this video after on. Okay. So for pregnant mummies who decided not to take the herbs anymore, is there any specific food they can take at home to sustain the pregnancy?
So this is actually a very common question that a lot of patients as well as our viewers, I think they are interested to find out as well. So for patients, for pregnant mummies, generally this will have to depend on your body constitution. So if you know you are someone who is qi deficient, meaning you feel tired and breathless easily, right? Okay, then what you should should take is chicken essence. Okay, so this is the most simple food that you can take and find. Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason why is because we say that when you are qi deficient or you are qi xu, right? Okay, you take chicken. Okay, but if let's say you are xue xu or blood deficient, you take red meats like your pork, your beef, as well as your mutton. Right? But I must say that for chicken essence, one thing to take note is that there's a lot of chicken essence now in the market. So especially there are chicken essences with added components like lingzhi and cordyceps.
Okay.
These are good for health, but for pregnant mummies, I would recommend if you just take the pure one. Yeah, that will be the safest lah. And then apart from that, okay, for patients who are blood deficient, meaning you feel dizzy, you got low blood pressure, you got anemia, right? Okay, like I mentioned just now, try to take more of red meats, so beef, pork, and mutton. Okay, more of beef and pork because I feel that mutton is a bit heaty, so it may not be so suitable for everyone. And if you don't eat let's say you don't eat beef, you can go for pork bone broth soup. So things like your lotus pork bone ribs, pork rib soup, lian ou pai gu tang, all this you can also have have some occasionally lah. Yeah. And then if you cannot eat pork, then you go for beef. So similarly. Then apart from that, okay, for patients who are kidney qi deficient, right, meaning you face lower back pain, okay, we do have a recipe up on our Instagram page, okay, which actually helps with fertility lah. So the recipe is called Chinese yam black bean soup, 山药黑豆汤. Yeah, so you can check out our Instagram, our clinic Instagram after the live. Okay, for the recipe.
Okay. So, since you're on that, right, is there any food to avoid then?
Okay, so this is also a very common question. Okay, but the general rule of thumb I would say is to first avoid inflammatory foods. Okay, so what are inflammatory foods? I would say things like spicy as well as oily and fried food. So cut down your McDonald's, cut down your Shake Shack, okay? Drink more water, okay? Also apart from that, sugar is also very high in inflammation. Okay, so if you are someone who likes to eat like ice cream or cold drinks like Coke, Pepsi,
Mr.
all
Coconut.
this. Mr. Coconut, yeah, okay, this one you have to cut down also. Now is not the time for Mr. Coconut.
when they are pregnant.
Correct, when they are pregnant, yeah. Okay. So other than that, also avoid cold foods lah, which also includes your Mr. Coconut. Okay, so more commonly this would be things like your salads. Okay, so raw vegetables are considered cold in nature, okay, in TCM. And then so if you want to eat vegetables, you can, but you eat cooked vegetables lah, okay. And then also things like your sashimi and your raw crab, raw prawn, all this, right, in your mukbang, okay, you gotta avoid as well, okay, because they are not so safe for mummies and babies lah, okay. So go for cooked foods. And then lastly, avoid processed foods. So this would be things like your potato chips lah, okay. Also cut down on the biscuits lah, okay. So go for more natural natural and whole foods.
Okay. So healthy and clean diet it is, yeah.
Yes.
Means more natural, organic, and warm cooked food will provide the most nutrients for both mummies and the baby. Okay, that's a lot of insights on TCM supporting pregnancy. Thank you, Physician Fu, for the sharing.
You're welcome.
Next up, we'll move on to our next interesting section, which is confinement. Okay, actually, I like this section the most. Okay, because I like confinement meals. Often when there's people at home or doing confinement, then I will just joke they're leftover. Okay. And also there's a lot of interesting confinement practices.
Yep.
Yeah, so when we say confinement, it's called 坐月子 嘛, right?
Yes.
And it's a quite big thing for Asians.
Yes.
Yes. And it's thought to affect a woman's general health for many years after.
Yep.
So Physician Fu, can you tell us, do we really need to do confinement after pregnancy, and why so?
Yes. Okay. So unbeknownst to a lot of people, confinement actually has a lot of benefits. So this one we will share more later lah, okay? But the reason why we do confinement in the first place, right, is because when women go through childbirth, right, it actually causes them to lose a lot of blood as well as qi in the process, because it is exhausting lah, okay, to say the least. It is painful, and there's also a lot of blood loss, okay? So what happens is when your qi and blood becomes deficient, right, after the childbirth, okay, your immunity similarly weakens, okay. So this is not only this doesn't only refer to you falling sick very easily, okay. It also refers to your protection against external factors. So these
Like
are
a
things
shield.
like, it's like your shield becomes weaker lah, okay? So when your shield becomes weaker, you become very exposed to external factors. So things like your wind, we say 风邪, your coldness, we say 寒邪, as well as dampness lah, 湿邪. So these are three of the most common 邪气 or pathogens that invade our body when our immunity is low. Okay, so when these invade the body, it causes the body to be very prone to things like osteoporosis, as well as 风湿 lah. Okay, when we say 风湿 when you're older. Okay, so it's very similar. You can think of it as when your barrier is weak, right? Not only things can enter easily, things can also exit freely. So think of it like your calcium, okay, as well as other qi and xue lah, okay. It causes calcium loss and also the further loss of all this qi and xue, which is not good for the body in the long run. Okay, so basically the purpose of confinement is to help to strengthen your qi, your blood, as well as your immunity, to prevent you from falling sick very easily in the future, as well as prevent early onset of rheumatism lah. So that you won't suffer from 风湿 so early in the future. Okay. Of course, apart from all this, confinement also helps to promote your milk supply as well, which is very important for mummies who are breastfeeding for their babies. So many moms actually take this chance known as confinement to regain their health lah. Restore their health back to normal or even better than before.
Okay. Actually, there are also some of the common confinement practices, right? Like what I say just now, it's quite fun. Okay, can you share a bit more on the confinement practices that you think is necessary for us or is more commonly practiced?
So some of the more common confinement practices would be things like, including ginger as well as sesame oil in your cooked food, okay? And then, of course, the most common would be to avoid showering or washing your hair, okay? And also, a lot of confinement nannies will ask you to replace your water intake with herbal tea or red date tea intake. And then some of the more less common ones but more interesting ones would be things like avoiding crying excessively or reading excessively. So it might not be so commonly practiced now, but it used to be a thing lah.
Okay. We also gathered 3 confinement myths here. Can you help to share your insights on them?
Okay, sure.
Firstly is do not shower or wash your hair.
Okay. So to touch on this, the purpose of why they ask you to not shower and wash your hair, right, is because after childbirth, our pores tend to be open. So like I said, like your shield is very weak lah. Okay, so things like your qi and xue exits freely, and then dampness, wind, cold, all this will enter. Okay, so when you shower, it's like water ma. So this is like dampness plus coldness. Okay, so we say that if you shower or you wash your hair after childbirth, right, all this enter your body and then you start to have 风湿. Okay, but in modern times, my recommendation for mummies would be you can still shower, you can still wash your hair, but there are some rules that you still have to follow. Okay, so avoid showering and washing your hair at night, because at night we say 寒气 or coldness is more prominent. Okay, and then secondly, after you shower or wash your hair, you have to dry your body and especially your hair immediately. Okay, so means you have to blow dry it instead of letting it air dry. Okay, so this is very important because your pores are still technically open. Okay, so don't shower excessively also. So maybe you can stick to 1 time a day. Okay, and then in the morning not at night. Right. Okay, so basically that's about it for this myth. Okay, so not exactly false also, but we can be a little bit more lenient a bit more flexible especially you live in Singapore, the weather is so hot if you don't shower, mummies tend to be very sticky and it's not so clean as well, right? So we don't want any other complications to arise with result of that.
So just try to shower during the day, dry your hair after you wash your hair, and then also try to keep it to 1 time per day.
Yes.
Then how about replacing all water intake with just herbal tea or the red dates tea?
Okay, so it's good to drink red date tea and herbal tea because these are components that can actually help to build up your qi and your blood. But I would not advise replacing entirely replacing your water intake entirely, okay, because by nature herbs as well as red dates are heaty in nature. So if you don't drink enough water, right, it can actually cause your body to become very heaty, and when it becomes heaty, you will have things like pimples, or you feel very hot, and then sometimes you may even have abscesses, or like it can also affect the baby as well, because the breast milk that you're feeding them is heaty in nature also.
Okay.
So still drink your water, okay. In fact, if possible, right, for people, I will recommend you to have at least 5% of your body weight in water intake per day. Okay, so for average people will be about 2 to 3 liters lah. So maybe your allocation can be half of that from herbal tea or red date tea, and the other half or more than that of that lah for normal water. I think that will be a good balance.
Okay. Alright. Then lastly is avoid reading or crying, which is the one that you shared to us.
Yes. Okay. So this is a very interesting myth. Okay. So why this myth is present in the first place is because in TCM, we say that childbirth weakens the liver, okay, and liver is linked to the eyes lah. So we say that anything that can that has to do with the eyes it can also affect the liver, okay. So things like reading or crying excessively actually uses the eye a lot, okay, which is why we say that try to avoid these things lah. But in modern days, okay, I think that it's normal to cry, right? Okay, it's a normal way of expressing our emotions. There's no way we can hold it back, okay. And then you can also read, okay, but maybe don't stay up late to read lah. Just do it in moderation, okay. But I do have to point out that if you find that you are crying excessively, or you are not in a good mental state after childbirth, please do seek professional help, because there is a thing called postpartum depression, which is very common among women these days because of our stressful lifestyles lah. So definitely do seek professional help.
Alright. So moving on to postpartum, where mom also face concerns like insomnia, low breast milk supply, or even lower back pain, mummy's risk, or even mood swings, poor immunity, low energy. So can TCM help in these kind of conditions?
Yes. So usually we do give TCM herbs that can help to rebalance these imbalances as well, okay, and also help to adjust the body back to health lah.
Okay. So by doing that, we are able to address all the different discomforts.
Correct. Because usually they arise due to excessive Qi and blood deficiency and loss during childbirth. So that's what the TCM herbs help to address.
I see. Okay. Then it is also safe for mummies to take TCM herbs even though they are breastfeeding, is it?
Yes. So some mummies do take TCM herbs while they are breastfeeding according to their body's needs lah. So why some mummies do not want to take TCM herbs during breastfeeding is because there are some TCM herbs that can restrict the milk supply as well as flow. So which is why it's very important for patients or mummies to visit TCM physicians to assess their body condition first. And for us on our part, we are aware of the kind of TCM herbs that we need to avoid lah, okay, for and especially those that are safe for both the mummies and the babies, so we can prescribe them with confidence. So definitely do not recommend you getting your TCM herbs on your own, okay. So do consult a physician first.
Okay. Then other than herbs, is there any alternative treatments for the conditions that I mentioned just now, so that the mummies can recover faster after their pregnancy?
Okay. So so one of the most common condition would be lower back pain, and like I said before, acupuncture can actually help with that, okay. For things like insomnia, immunity, as well as your energy and mood issues, right? Okay. At Oriental Remedies, we do have other technologies that can actually help with that, especially if you're someone who doesn't like to take herbs and you're scared of needles lah. So the technology that can actually help with this, with all this sleep, energy and mood issues, right, is called negative ion therapy. So this negative, to sum it up shortly, okay, the negative ions actually help to rebalance out your autonomic nervous system. So your autonomic nervous system is actually your fight or flight and your rest and digest system lah. So when these two systems are in balance, right, your body is able to cope with stress easily. Okay, but when it's off balance, right? Okay, you might find that your body is constantly in a state of fight or flight, or sometimes it might constantly be in a state of rest and digest lah. So you feel very tired all the time, right? So the negative ions actually help to balance these two systems up. So a lot of patients, after they do it, they find that they can sleep better at night. Their mood also improves. Okay, and of course, one more benefit of the negative ion is actually to help to activate your immune cells. Yeah. So these are actually very important for your immunity. So usually I tell patients that they work on a different level. So like your TCM herbs actually help to nourish your qi and your blood, whereas the negative ions, they work on a cellular level lah, meaning they help your cells activate the cells as well as become more healthy so that they can absorb this qi and absorb this TCM herbs more easily as well. Yeah.
So they can also produce the qi and the blood that we want.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So apart from that, right? Okay. Sometimes for mummies, okay, after childbirth lah, they start to feel like they want to start to reduce their weight, or they want to become more fit and healthy again.
Yeah.
Okay. So in which case, the alternative therapy, electrolymphatic therapy, would be more suitable for this lah. Okay. So during confinement or after childbirth, right? Okay. Sometimes mummies, it's not that they don't want to lose weight. They are exercising. They are they are eating healthily, but sometimes the kgs just don't drop lah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason why is because there tends to be a lot of dampness inside the body. Okay. As well as slow metabolism lah. Okay. So the body is basically unable to digest as fast as it used to. Okay.
Right.
So what the ELT helps with, right, is it helps to boost the metabolism. Okay. It can actually help to boost your lymphatic circulation. Okay. So basically it helps to detox the body lah. Okay. So meaning when you detox your body, right, okay, you can think of all the toxins leaving your body and then all the good things can come in lah. Okay. So this actually helps to boost your metabolism. Okay. So a lot of mummies or even regular patients, they come after their weight starts to plateau lah, during their weight loss, and then after one session of ELT, it can actually help them to break the plateau. Yeah. But of course, moving on from that, it's a combination of hard work. It combines your diet and your exercise, your lifestyle as well lah. Yeah. So this just gives that additional boost. Okay. And then apart from that, we also have supplements, okay, that can actually help to nurse your health back to normal or even better than before. Okay, so this is good for mummies who don't have time or don't really like to take herbal medicine. Okay, so one of it is actually hair essentials. So we have it over here. Okay, so this is hair essentials, and basically what it contains is TCM herbs as well as black sesame. Yeah. So why this is very good is because a lot of mummies after confinement, they find that or even after childbirth, they find that the hair loss increases lah. Yeah. So this is actually very common. Okay. So apart from the conventional therapies like acupuncture and TCM herbs, right? Okay, this supplement is actually very effective in helping to strengthen the hair. Okay, improving your hair growth as well as reducing hair fall. Yeah. The reason why is because it helps to nourish the kidneys and the livers, which are naturally weak after childbirth lah. Okay, and these are two of the most essential organs that is linked to hair health. Yeah. So in the process of nourishing this kidney and liver function, right, it can actually help to darken as well as strengthen the hair. Yeah.
So not only for hair for graying, like the 白头发 can also help.
Can, yeah, 白头发 also can help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So this is hair essentials, and then apart from hair essentials, okay, for some of the more common conditions like mummy's wrist, lower back pain, neck, shoulder pain, right? Okay, we also have our strong pain relief plaster. So as the name suggests, it is very good for pain relief. Yeah. Okay. So the difference between this and regular plasters is that it contains TCM herbs. Okay, so regular plasters generally they are chemically formulated. So if you see the ingredients, they are all chemicals that helps with suppressing pain lah. Okay, so for this plaster, apart from suppressing pain, right, okay, the TCM herbs inside actually helps to activate your blood circulation. So things like frankincense, myrrh, angelica, all these can actually help to improve the blood circulation. So it's very important for mummies to have blood circulation, because we say that after childbirth, mummies tend to be 多虚多瘀, meaning that there's a lot of deficiencies, and then there's also a lot of blood clots lah, or blood stagnation. Yeah. So when you have lower back pain, or like things like mummy's wrist, right? Okay, it's very convenient. You can just cut it because it's very big pieces, and then you can paste it where you need it lah. Yeah. So places like the back will be bigger, so you can just paste one full one. Then for the wrist, right, you can actually cut it smaller and then you paste it on the wrist.
So just one strip around the wrist.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Okay,
So that is the pain relief plaster for muscle aches and pain.
Yes.
And then lastly, we have an all-rounder, which is our gut essentials. Yeah. So this is actually a probiotic product. And why is probiotic an all-rounder? Okay, so Justin, let me ask you, what does probiotic help with?
Help with the gut?
Yes, correct. Okay. So you can infer from the name itself lah. Okay, so the gut is actually our it's linked to a lot of things lah. Okay, so this includes your sleep, your mental health. Okay, it's linked to your immunity. Okay, it's linked to your skin health as well. Okay, so all of this, if let's say your gut is not good, right, and is usually the case lah after childbirth, it causes some changes to the good bacteria inside your gut. Okay, it can actually cause your sleep to be bad, it can cause your mood to be bad. Sometimes it also shows up on the skin, like when your skin is not as plump as before, or sometimes there's even darkening. Okay, and then of course a lot of other conditions even including digestive conditions like constipation or diarrhea. Okay, so that's why we formulated the gut essentials to help with everything by targeting the gut. So if you're someone who suffers from all these conditions and you're not sure where to begin with, this will be a good product because it helps to change your body condition and also help you look more healthy and beautiful from the inside out lah. Yeah, so this is our all-rounder product.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Physician Fu. Okay, so I think that's about the sharing from Physician Fu today on how we can sustain pregnancy, as well as some tips on confinements in between for new moms. We will now open the questions to the floor. So if anyone has any questions, we'll try to answer them now. We will also answer some questions that were asked earlier on our IG. So firstly, you can still keep your questions coming in. We will address some of the questions first. So firstly, how can mummies boost their milk supply after pregnancy?
So of course, usually we take TCM Hubs, we prescribe TCM Hubs. Okay, but if you are someone who doesn't want to take herbs and you want to know what kind of foods can help to boost your milk supply, I would say you can eat more of things like oatmeal, barley, whole grain barley rice as well. Yeah, but if you are unsure, always visit your TCM physician, and then we can help with that lah.
Okay. Then next one we have, are massages safe during the first trimester?
So this is also very dependent on the body condition and where you're going for the massage. But I would say that it's generally safer to wait until after your first trimester, because pregnancies may tend to be a little bit unstable in the first trimester. Yeah. So when you go to massage places, sometimes they may also reject you if you're in your first trimester. Yeah. But I mean, depending on your concern, we may be able to help with other therapies. So do drop by and let us know.
Okay. So next we will have bigger questions. Is it true that confinement is a second chance to not just regain their health to the pre-pregnancy stage, but to condition their body to cover any deficiency they were facing within their original body constitution? It's like a revamp for their body constitution, is it?
Yep. So some mummies, or there's this saying that confinement is like your one chance at revamping your body constitution entirely. So this is true to a certain extent. Okay, so for mummies, right, after childbirth, they are like a blank slate. Okay, so like I said just now, is they tend to be 多虚多瘀, meaning they are deficient, and then there's a lot of blood stagnation. Okay, so once we get rid of the blood stagnation, right, okay, the deficiency part, right, actually allows us to nourish the way we want it to lah. Okay, so that's why a lot of mummies after confinement, right, they find that they don't experience some of the symptoms that they used to experience. So things like painful menstrual cramps, or even irregular menses, right? Okay, after confinement, when we nourish their body back to health, right? Okay, they actually no longer have all these problems.
Good.
Yeah. So that's why this is one of the benefits of confinement that I say, which is why it's very important to do your confinement well. Okay. For normal ladies and women, it's not that they cannot change their body constitution, but it will never be as large a change as compared to, you know, during confinement where it's like blank slate like
is
that.
there any reason why is it so?
Okay, so a lot of us, we are born with a certain kind of body constitution. Okay, it's something that is relatively hard to change lah. Okay, but of course we can still help to manage with TCM Hubs, right? So you know, when you are not when you don't experience childbirth, right, most of the times it's like you already have your current body constitution already. Okay, so when we give you herbs, right, it's more of just adding it on. Okay, whereas for confinement, right, or childbirth, right, it's like whatever you have, right, you lose it all at once first. Okay, and then we start to put in what we want your body to have. Yeah, so this is why we say that confinement like is a special chance, okay, for women to revisit all these, you know, existing concerns. Yeah.
So means after means the confinement or after pregnancy actually gives the body some allowance to take in all the herbs that the physicians actually wanted for them to improve their body condition.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright. Then next we have a question. Would like to know why only Asians practice the confinement practices? Yeah, whereas like the Angmo they don't, but they still look alright.
Okay, so this is actually a very interesting and also some question that my patients sometimes ask me as well. Okay, so with regards to confinement practices or even other things, like some people, they'll ask me, how come we need to drink warm water? Like, you know, when you go overseas, right, all the Angmos, they also drink cold water, but then their bodies are fine. Yeah. So like what this viewer has mentioned, right? Okay, I do believe that it is a genetic makeup thing. So it's similar to our body constitutions. Yeah. So we know that Asians and Caucasians, we have very different body makeup. So in a sense, I suppose because we are very used to Chinese traditional practices, okay, it kind of modifies our body in a way that there are certain things that we cannot do, while, you know, for Caucasians, they are, you know, completely okay with it lah. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question. Okay.
Okay. So it's also the environment where we grew up in.
Correct. Yeah. Environment practices as well as body makeup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next question we have. The products that we showed just now, is it suitable for breastfeeding mummies?
Okay, so for this question, right, I would say the best most of our products, right, we generally prescribe at the clinic lah. Okay, so if you have any, you know, doubts or questions about, you know, whether you can take it, right, the best would be to drop by and then for a consultation with us, okay, so that we can assess whether it's suitable for you lah. Okay, so generally with our products, they are okay for breastfeeding mummies, okay, but it depends on, you know, whether the mummy wants to, you know, err on the safer side lah. Okay, so again, like I said, if you're unsure, just drop by and then we can check it out and then we'll advise accordingly.
Okay. So we have our last question. How long do we really need to do confinement for? Can we do like 1 to 2 weeks instead of a full month?
Okay. I would say if you are doing confinement, right, go for the full one. So 1 to 2 weeks is more like a mini confinement that we do during let's say miscarriage or, you know, like a failed IVF lah. Yeah. Okay. So if you are doing it for 1 to 2 weeks, right, I don't think it's sufficient, okay, for your body to recondition completely lah. Okay, because during confinement we do have different phases. So the first part of confinement, we definitely have to get rid of the blood clots first, okay, and then afterwards we can start to slowly replenish what we have lost lah. Okay, and even then we don't go straight into the very heavy nourishing herbs. Yeah. So which is why if you're doing 1 to 2 weeks, right, it may not be enough time for us to get rid of the blood clots and nourish the body at the same time. Yeah. So if you want to do it, go big or go home. Yeah. So we go for 1 month lah. Okay. Yeah.
Alright. Okay. I hope that answers all your questions. If you still have any questions, we can also address them after these under our post. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for your questions. Before we go off, another big bonus sharing for you all. We'll be gifting 3 lucky patients a complimentary TCM consult with 2 bottles of our all-rounders, the gut essentials. When you quote ORG bump, the baby bump, for pregnancy concerns. Okay, so the giveaway is valid from 31st May to 7 June. So I repeat, it's 31st May to 7 June. The first 3 to code ORG BUM will get the complimentary consult plus 2 bottles of our gut essentials. Okay, and it's only for new patients, and you can only do the consultations at our Orchard outlet. So do make an appointment with us in advance first by quoting the promo code so that we can arrange your appointment for you. So the hotline to call, right, our customer success team, the number will be 8742-2163. 8742-2163, yeah?
It's our clinic number.
Yeah, it's our clinic number.
Can find it online also.
Yeah. Okay, so make sure you just give us a call before you come down so that we can arrange for you accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay. So lastly, to share a bit more on our next session, so it will be next month, the last Wednesday, we'll be having something lighthearted. So this time around, we'll be sharing on beauty and skin conditions. So our physician Fu will explain how TCM can help achieve acne-free skin. Yes, beauty and skin.
Yes, to help you glow from within.
Yes, from inside out. Okay, so if you're interested in our beauty and skin topic for next month, do mark it down in your calendar and stay tuned.
Okay, thank you,
bye.
everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, enjoy your lunch.
Thank you for tuning in. Yay.